Hello and welcome to the JB&M Sports Fanatic channel. Thank you for joining me for this video. And wow, talk about a surprise, but when you really think about it, it kind of makes sense. Deshaun Watson, he reports to the Houston Texans training camp today. And yeah, he's still seeking his trade though. So, Houston Texan fans, there's no need to get overly excited about that. But what this does mean for Deshaun Watson is that mandatory $50,000 fine for each day that he missed of camp. He's essentially avoiding that $50,000 fine each day by showing up. And so obviously that makes sense. Now, in terms of his, playing status, we're going to have to continue to monitor the investigations of the 22 separate lawsuits that was filed against him back in March and April of sexual misconduct and assault. And so we will see how that plays out. But obviously that's going to be huge in terms of the NFL stepping in and, telling him he can no longer play, or either if those, disappear, then hey, he'll be able to play. But we'll have to see how that plays out. But one thing's for sure is that the three-time Pro Bowler, he is showing up for camp. He's been working out vigorously. That's one thing that we've certainly seen. I've seen that he's, taking the time to work out with Jordan Love, Justin Fields, as well as doing his own training away from the team. And so now he's showing up. And so you wonder how that's going to be, especially for the rest of the Houston Texans, in terms of it'll be a distraction for them. Obviously, you see Watson out there. You want Watson out there. But at the same time, the situation that's going on. I mean, everybody knows it at this point. So you wonder the reaction of how his teammates feel. Obviously, the organization, he's definitely been pushing hard to get pushed out of Houston. So there's a lot to keep our eyes on in terms of how this is going to play out. But he's definitely going to be there for the beginning of camp, and that's going to save him $50,000 a day in terms of being fined. So that's really the storyline when it comes to this. And so other than that, the NFL, as I mentioned before, they're gonna. It seems like they're gonna take the route of waiting a little longer to see how things play out, and then do their own investigation and go from there. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, Watson, he still, denies any wrongdoing following those initial lawsuits. And he still is holding true to wanting to be traded from the Houston Texans. And so we will see if at some point it makes sense to trade him away. One of the teams that he certainly has kept his eye on has been the Denver Broncos. And the Miami Dolphins at one point at the season as well. And so we would just have to wait and see, should these legal cases disappear, you'd imagine that there would be a market for Deshaun. He's only 25 years old, had an extremely great season last year, despite the fact that the Houston Texans did not win a lot of games. Matter of fact, they went 4-12 last year, but he certainly did his part. 33 touchdowns to just 7 interceptions, along with 4,800 yards passing. I mean, those are some really great numbers right there. And so he's definitely got the skills, and he did it, obviously in his first year without Hopkins. This year, the Texans, they won't have Will Fuller. They'll look a little different this season. That will be for sure. And you look at their current receiving depth chart, for example, Brandon Cooks has to be receiver number 1 right now, but we all know with Brandon Cooks, he's the type of receiver that he gets hurt from time to time. Injuries has been really big for him. I've seen him have concussions, leg injuries, all kind of injuries. And so obviously him being healthy is going to be extremely important. They've got Andre Roberts, Randall Cobb, he's not the Randall Cobb that he was in Green Bay. So he definitely can be a complimentary receiver, but they're going to need a solid number 1 receiver, someone to step up. They did draft Nico Collins, and they still have Kiki. And they've got a couple other guys that they brought on, Chris Conley. They've got Chris Moore, Alex Erickson. So I feel like they've got a lot of receivers. It's just a matter of seeing how this depth chart is going to really play out this upcoming season. That's going to be important. And then protecting whoever goes out there at quarterback, and which you would have to assume if Watson's not out there at quarterback, then it would be Tyrod Taylor at the quarterback position. But they do have, I believe they still got Jeff Driscoll. I know they picked him up from the Broncos. And so we will see how that works out for them moving forward. But yeah, certainly a lot of questions for these Houston Texans. Even at running back as well, like obviously David Johnson, he's going to be the guy Mark Ingram, will he even make it to the final roster? Philip Lindsay, a couple different running backs here. So a lot of things, but the Houston Texans, one thing I really will say about this team, and I really love what they've been able to do this offseason in terms of bringing in a lot of guys, bringing in a lot of depth as well at positions. Obviously for me, that wide receiver position, that's something you're going to want to keep an eye on. And of course, the quarterback position as well. But in terms of, just the amount of guys that they brought in to try to restructure the culture of this team moving forward, you have to like what they're doing for the most part throughout that. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys for watching me for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, the big news is Watson showing up for camp, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be playing for the Houston Texans, but it means for him personally avoiding that $50,000 fine right now. So that is his stance. And so we'll see how that plays out. But thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like the video, leave a comment, let me know if you think, Watson, if he's going to be playing this year, who would he be playing with? Will he be suspended? Whatever. Just leave it in the comment section. Definitely want to know what you guys are thinking about this as well. Be sure to subscribe if you have not already. Keep you up to date with NFL content, NBA content, and college sports. And so with that being said, thanks again for watching, and see you guys next time.